Is this the end of NGL? Today, we're not gonna lie.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of NGL People where we talk about things in life that matter. I'm Zeleny.
I'm Natasha.
And today, it's our final episode on this couch.
Wow.
It's been 3 years since we first launched our very
Madness.
first episode. And, we just want to take this episode to walk down memory lane, invite some of our production crew that have been with us since the very start.
Hello, my name is Shuni. I am one of the first few people who worked on this from the beginning when we had the idea.
Yeah, man. OG.
To whether or not we're going to do a podcast or something, to deciding the title, set.
You were a speaker also.
The brains behind this.
Ownership,
Yeah.
man. Yes. How about you?
Yes, my name is David. I am one of the first production crew, setting up the cameras, editing the first few episodes, doing the sound. We'll get into that later.
Wow.
The sound, the evolution of the sound in this, choosing the
yes.
podcast music.
Yes. And David, you were also a speaker on one of our episodes,
Yeah,
right?
he
I
revealed
was.
something so dark from his past. Thank you for being so courageous. If you don't know what we're talking about, look for David in our
Scroll
episodes.
all the way back.
I won't say anything.
Myself, I also started as a production crew behind the scenes, right? And I think then one fine day they're like, oh, do you want to be a host? Because maybe you and Nata can vibe. I was like, huh, really? Or try. Then I thought it was just a once-off thing. And then
You got
permanent.
scammed
You became
again.
permanent.
Yeah.
yeah, and then we got a bigger couch. Last time we were on chairs, remember?
Yes.
Oh my god,
No, I
it's
think it's
chairs.
because after every episode, once the cameras cut, right, Zel got a lot of unhinged things to say.
Yeah.
If you got so much
that's
to
true.
say, why don't you just sit on the couch?
No,
and
actually,
talk?
our whole production crew, a lot of things to say. Wow.
It's true lah.
That's
Yeah,
true.
it's like
We have one more that's not here, like Joanne
has
has
so
a lot
much
of things
to
to
say.
say.
yeah.
Shout out to Joanne.
Shout out.
And Nata, how about you? What
I've
was your role?
been the podcast host from the beginning,
Yes.
from episode 1. If you look through all our episodes, you will see how my hair has changed many, many times.
It's just just a little bit of what we do. I think halfway through we also branched out to have in-person gatherings,
Yeah.
so not just the
Yeah.
podcast, right? So we'll talk a little bit about that also. Let's talk about our memories about the podcast itself. Why we started this in the first place, as if we're very free like that. Yeah, Shuni, why don't you share how did this come into your mind one fine day?
It was after COVID. It was kind of really when the world was kind of opening up. Actually, everyone's still struggling a bit. And I remember during COVID, I heard a lot of people having isolation issues, or learning how to reconnect with people, or losing friends, or people who are in uni, then they have a very different experience going to lessons on Zoom. Yeah. And there were a lot of young adults around me that I realized that young adulting is so hard. Adulting is so hard. It's I have this realization that in your 20s, right, you make life decisions that will impact your entire life almost. Your finances, the friends, or lack of friends, marriage, learning to take care of your parents and all of that. So you kind of have to go through all these transitions, but there are many different views out there also how you should live. I just felt we could have a space where people can just have real conversations about this, and then for people to know that they are not alone. So I think that's what started the whole conversation, and in the end we decided, okay, let's talk about these issues with just friends.
I think we were also saying that for some people, if you are in groups of friends that tend to talk about these things, actually okay lah, you get a space to process it. But we did feel that there are a lot of adults who may not have these friends. Then we kind of became your friends
Online
on the
friends?
internet. Yeah, and I guess that kind of also formed the kind of things that we talk about in NGL.
Yep.
We really felt topics like family, relationships, work life, all of these things were very, very big parts of navigating that young adulthood transition. So it was also things that we personally had to process lah. So as much as we are talking about things here, a lot of times when we want to film the episode, then we start to process these
Yes,
areas
that's
also
right.
and dig out
Digging
all our
up,
stories.
our demons from the past.
Yeah, and some stuff
inner
not
hurts.
very processed also, to be honest. So we're doing it while we're filming the
that's
episodes.
why it's not gonna lie, right?
Yeah, but that has been quite helpful lah, to know that young adulthood doesn't need to always be,
Put
very
together.
neatly organized, but we can figure things out together as it comes.
David, how was your experience being on the set as well?
I think because working on NGL was when I was entering adulthood. So it was like a teaser for me for what I would be expecting.
trauma.
Yeah. So I come in like the first episode is like I have no friends. I'm older. Just like I was just navigating through these things from behind the camera and try not to cry sometimes also, or try not to like be so affected.
Yeah, no, there were some episodes, right? Like on the couch, we're like, not that I'm like holding it together, but behind the camera, right? Tissues everywhere.
Sniffles.
Yeah, you can hear sniffles. Then we're like, what happened?
All trying to blow their nose very softly.
There's like a whole episode happening outside, behind the camera.
Oh yeah. We should go into that.
Yeah, David, you say you try very hard, right? To not make any noise behind the camera. Tell us more.
About the
our
evolution of
best
sound.
like memory.
Yes, one of the most memorable experience. Speaking of like quite on set, okay?
Yeah.
So we started with not with this mic.
It's the clip-on.
Yeah, clip-on lapel mics. Yeah. So the first episode that we got the podcast mics, it was the girls and boys episode one, and so I was doing sound for that episode behind the scene, and so when I put on the headphones,
Yeah, he was like that.
yeah, it was like
Surround
wow,
sound.
I'm actually listening to a
Transcended.
podcast. Yeah. I felt like I was in an MRT, like just listening to a podcast. So I was really immersive. I forgot I was like working on the set. So they said something about what was the line?
I know. I said to the guys that I think sometimes, right, when guys try and then they don't do it very well, girls are quite like harsh. But actually, we can encourage their attempts to try and not penalize them when they do it badly.
Yes.
That's how he reacted. With the headphone,
Yeah, and you know, like with those headphones, like you actually cannot hear yourself. So
Yeah.
you
it's very loud, you know.
So I was actually shocked that I reacted in that way.
when do you realize you were not on the MRT?
We were all shocked. We were all shocked.
I was like suddenly plucked out from the MRT. I'm like, I'm here in the studio. I am not in the MRT.
everybody was
like, what did I just do?
If you all watch back the episode, you see Nata like
Yeah.
everyone's eyeline kind of like
Shifted a bit,
shifted to the side.
I was fighting for my life, dude.
but like you all still carried on, We didn't have to
Yeah,
retake.
yeah.
It's
No,
really
no,
nice that
it
you
was-
can see my face like
Spasm a bit.
very hard to not laugh.
Yeah, they were like soldiers for not like stopping. So I was like, great. But that was really an experience for me.
Well, any
was
other
quite funny.
great memories?
My favorite one was like there was this one episode where we got Daryl and Waikit to come and talk about friendship.
friendship one.
Can you be honest?
Can we be honest?
Can we be honest?
with our
Yeah.
friends? Yeah.
So the context is Daryl and I have been friends for quite a while, and like our dynamic is that we're always like laughing about stupid things together. So at this point, right, once I see Daryl's face, I want to laugh, and like anytime he laughs and he looks at me, I will definitely laugh.
Oh, it's a chain
so
reaction.
on
I
that
remember
episode,
that,
it was
yeah.
a mega chain reaction because every time Daryl looks at Waikit just gives this face like he's so lost and confused all the time.
And they don't know each other, right?
They don't know each
Before
other.
the
It was
shoot.
their first time. Like, so then Daryl just kept laughing, but Daryl was seated where Zell was. So the whole time Daryl
Eye
laughed
contact.
at Waikiki, I just keep laughing and laughing and laughing, right? And I think we didn't even start the shoot yet.
Yeah.
Then
It was
I
so
laughed
bad,
until
man.
I cried.
laugh and you
I laughed
cry?
until I cried. Like, and my makeup was like a bit
So Nata
like
rarely
gone.
cries on set.
Yeah,
That's
y'all
a
share
slight.
the sad stuff, or I'm quite strong, but when I see Daryl's face, I cannot take it. I just like,
So
I think we
sitting-
have a video of me crying.
Maybe we might have.
Yeah,
we might
I
have.
have,
Yeah.
Shunye, what was your
Wow.
favorite episode?
Favorite
Yeah, or just memorable.
Well, I remember there was one particular episode where we talked about discipline is not for you. Then we had you and Wei Ye, who was the discipline people, and then
yes,
like Dorcas and Nata, who are like a bit more like let's wing it kind of people. So like I remember halfway, maybe about
towards the
15
end
minutes,
already.
yeah,
Yeah.
15 minutes to the end of the shoot. Then one of the production people were like, Dorcas, your phone keeps ringing. Do you want to pick it up? Then only then we realized that actually Dorcas has like a presentation or like on Zoom that she needs to do for her uni.
And she said
And
it very
she
like
knew
nonchalantly,
about it.
eh.
It's not that she doesn't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But she just feels like, okay, they need to play a video for 10 minutes. Then after it's my Q&A. So I can make it to the end of the shoot and then go out of this room and go right on Zoom for the Q&A. I was like, that is truly winging it, man. I I think when you could see like the people on this couch were like dying.
When I straight, I was like, well, I cannot hire you.
I was like, wow.
we were so much more anxious than her.
Yeah. She was like completely.
She was chill and then I was just laughing like the whole time.
Nonchalance.
It was
Yeah.
so
Like-
funny. Like you see in real life.
That's it, real life, really.
You know, we talk about how like NGL is a place where it's where people share their stories, their life
Yeah.
experiences. And there are so many people on the show, right?
Yeah.
What was one guest whose story really like made an impact on us?
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, okay, I can share first. Okay, I thought about this. So, I think both the topic and what our speakers shared really made me feel so refreshed after the shoot. And it was the nostalgia one. I thought, like, I felt very unprepared for the shoot before it happened because I was telling Nata, right, I was like, well, I'm not sentimental at all. I think I don't know what to contribute in this episode. Wow, then I walked away learning so much. Yiqing, right, he shared how his dad kept his umbilical cord. When he was 30, the dad gave it to him, gave it back to him together with the old Chinese calendar. Yiqing shared that like in terms of the context, like how he grew up not really remembering a lot of happy things about his childhood. And he wasn't very sure where, how his parents loved him. Yeah, but when his dad did that, right, for him, right, then he realized that, wow, like his dad really loved him in such a unimaginable way. I think I was quite moved. Yeah, because growing up and all, we do have like moments where we doubt, whether our parents love us, or we know that they do, but not really in a way. And sometimes these things, we don't really have closure on that. But I was just so happy that he got that. Yeah, and I think the last part of the episode, I remember that we shared that actually nostalgia can represent like the things that you really value and treasure.
Yeah.
That you want to hold on to even when this world, continues to change and things move at a fast pace.
Yeah.
And it got me to think about how actually there are things that I do feel a certain ache about. And actually it wasn't just the thing that happened, but why it made me feel that way. And those were actually my values. Yeah. So I saw how nostalgia actually can play a very relevant part in like in my season today. So how are you guys?
I think for me, it will be the emotions one. I remember I think it was also Gerald.
Aaron.
Gerald and Aaron. And I remember the conclusion from the episode is that like Gerald said that there's no bad emotions. Yeah, then I was like, I think that clicked in me because like I also feel like, like because I'm a very emotional person, like from young, right? I also feel like, maybe it's better if I don't have so much emotions. And it's like I'll be such an easier like person to manage. Like people would find it easier to like me, maybe. Yeah. So I think when she shared that, I really took it to like go back and think about it and like, hey, I think really like these emotions just shows something like a bit like what you shared lah. There's an ache and there's a pain point that I need to go and like walk through or to go and like sit with myself and just allow that emotions. Yeah, and I think I see that for my kids also. So like when I play them, then they have big emotions. Like I also can see, like they are really just wanting to be heard or loved. Yeah. So I think like it really was very memorable for me, like that particular episode.
Nata, you?
I have two that are quite memorable to me, but the topic is like the same theme, So it's the one with Wei Jian and Miriam when they shared about how they lost their parents. And then the other one was Christina and Westy when they talked about how they had to take care of their parents who fell sick when they were in their 20s. So I feel like, for one, these two are topics that are not very familiar to me in terms of personal experience, but I think it's something that I feel a lot for them because my parents are very dear to me. So like, I think especially in like Wei Jian and Miriam's story, it really hit me that like, we're not just hearing a story of two young people who lost their parents, but in Wei Jian's story, it was also a story of how his mom lost her partner. And I think as a married person, like it hit me very differently to consider like, wow, actually I really can't imagine being in his mom's position where like, I have 2 young children and I lost my husband who is so dear to me, and in the midst of grieving and having to pick myself up,
Yep.
I have to pick them up and I have to make sure that they're alive and like I continue raising them. And like, I mean, Wei Jian and his sister turned out fantastic lah.
Yeah.
So like, I really, that one moment moved me so much. And I think similarly lah, for Christina and Wesley's story, to hear how like through their parents falling sick, they really came to a deeper appreciation and love
Yes,
for
yeah.
their parents, even though there were even things in their childhood that were perhaps unresolved by then.
Yep, yep.
I thought that was quite moving. And my favorite memory was like, I was watching Zell. Okay, y'all have to know, right, that Zell's weak spot is parents. Like every time we talk about this kind of family thing, right, she confirmed very moved. So like there was this one moment in the Christina
line of
Wesley,
sight, right?
yeah, because she's always there and I'm always here, right? So like I can't remember, someone was sharing something about their parent, and then when I
Wesley?
looked at Zell's face, she was like that. Then there was a single tear rolling down very
A
slowly.
tear fell from Zell.
It's very cinematic, you know. It's like
Slow-mo.
Slow-mo.
I was keeping it
I can't remember
together.
whether I laughed. I think I did.
You
lah.
did.
Because
We
I
stopped
thought I
the show.
couldn't take it. It was very moving, but it was too funny. Like watching Zell's face like that. Like
Yeah, actually, I never really cried in. I think that is the only time I cried.
no,
Like
there was
on-
one
on
episode
the
that we
sofa.
all like couldn't take it. It's like we did the grief
Grief
episode.
one. I
Oh,
remember
yeah,
that one.
okay.
That
Daryl
one was
and Joyce.
very
That was,
Joyce,
I think,
right?
the hardest episode.
Yeah, that one,
we
the
had
tissue
to
paper we
film.
pass. I think I see that cry until.
I think the shoot ended at midnight. Because
Yes,
everyone
yes,
was
yes.
it
crying.
was so bad.
Yeah.
We,
So I think like the 4 of us on the couch, like, I mean, some of us were in the process also of processing a relatively recent grief.
Yeah.
So then it was very hard lah to talk about because we're not fully out of it. Then I think for Daryl and Joyce also, I mean, I don't know whether you can ever fully be out of
Yep.
grief, you know. So every time you're brought back into that moment where you have to relive what you felt and go through again that process, that aching, I think it was difficult. So I think all of our brains were just like shut down.
Yeah,
That
I
day,
remember.
like foggy, and then we're crying. After that, like the head very heavy. So like
Oh,
it was
man.
difficult. But I also do think that it was quite a necessary topic to approach.
Yeah.
Not the most common experience, hopefully, for most people our age. But I think for those who go through it, it can really be quite either isolating or like you really feel like you don't know how to go about processing something like that. That was memorable.
Yeah. David, how about you?
Honestly, one of my favorite thing about NGL is, of course, you learn new things. But I think one of the biggest thing for takeaway for me is being represented on screen. Yeah, and
Wow.
I think one of the episodes that really represented me well is People Pleaser.
Oh, hey, that one got a
I
lot of
really
views,
like that
eh.
episode, you know. It was so funny.
Being a chronic
Yeah.
people pleaser, I think I really relate not being able to say no. Even to this episode, I don't know whether I could have said no to this.
You know, the
being on
episode,
this
right?
episode.
you are here.
So you really didn't say no?
Yeah,
The other people
we were
pleaser say
so
no
confident. Yeah,
many
they confirmed
times.
say
yeah,
yes
exactly.
one.
I was trying to ask the people pleaser just now if she want to be in the
The people.
episode.
Yeah, we were still asking her to
Till
just
just
now.
now.
Like,
Yeah.
she got
10 minutes
scammed
before.
for too many
Yeah,
episodes.
but she learned how to
already.
say no. It's something that I think is very embarrassing to be open about, like be people pleasing, like because it's something that you just think about it by your own, like
yeah.
oh, I'm doing things to.
So it's a bit like
please
you are
people.
aware, but you
You
don't,
don't really want to admit it.
lah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
quite
yeah.
true. Like you
Yeah.
admit it to yourself, but you
Yeah,
won't
yeah.
admit it to like people
Exactly.
around you. Like,
Why would you say that I'm a people pleaser? Then
Yeah,
that's not very
it's true
pleasing to
lah.
hear.
Great, then like,
You know what I mean?
no, I know what you mean. Because it's like, as a people pleaser myself, right? I also feel like if I say that, then will my friends think that I am doing this?
Like you're not authentic.
Yeah, correct. Like I'm doing this for them just because I want to please them, not because I like them. Then
Yeah.
it just spirals. Yeah.
Now in my season now I've learned to admit and accept, and so I've been open about it to my friends, and so now my friends have been a bit more wary about whether I'm not saying yes because I really want to do it, or is it because I just want to please people? So people are more like
They will check in with you.
Yeah, check in and help
Yeah,
me
very
create
good friend, eh?
boundaries. So for me, being able to see that it's being talked about on a platform like this helped me to it's fine to admit.
Wow.
to
Yeah, it
myself.
made you like,
Yeah.
I guess, give you a bit more courage to dig a bit deeper on why you might feel this way.
Yeah.
I think it's very good, like personal growth. If you really go and
really
listen
therapy.
and you.
Yeah, we say like NGL is therapy.
I think so.
Not just for people watching the episode, right? But for
us,
for us
for
as
us,
well.
yeah,
for
for
us,
us,
so-
yeah.
I feel the thing that NGL kind of forced us to do was introspection. Because to be
Yeah.
honest, like what Zell said about nostalgia, right? Like not every topic will be very familiar. And I felt like the thing that NGL kind of made me do was to really like dig deeper into who I am, into the memories that I have, to reflect a bit more as to why I am the way I am. And we talk a lot about childhood actually, if you all
Correct.
realize.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about our upbringing,
Yes.
about like our tendencies, which is essentially therapy. That's what you do in therapy and like try and understand who you
everything,
are.
yeah.
Free
Right.
therapy.
No, the other thing that
Free,
we,
right?
we often talk about is also like I feel like NGL brings like this agency of change that
Yes.
we
Yeah.
can
I agree.
have like in our hands.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of times when we talk about like some of these difficult topics, we often end off with like, actually, who do we want to become?
Yeah.
What do we want to choose to live by? And like our values and what can we do in these situations? And I feel like those are things that really bring a lot of hope. And there are things you can do to become a better person.
It's very empowering
Yeah.
to know that you are not just a victim to
Yep.
circumstances.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the things that I think NGL made me confront, right, was my unwillingness to make friends in my adulthood.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but I don't really like to make friends. And I used to have this like belief in like by the time I hit uni, right, that I have all the friends that I need.
I
yeah,
remember
yeah.
you said
Right,
that.
right,
like,
yeah.
like my heart only got so much space, and I want to give that much space to every person in my heart. So I just cannot like
Take on any
take
more.
on any more new people. It's like, sorry, door closed forever. Yeah, but I think in NGL, like, because quite literally we get like different friends who come to sit
That's
on our
right,
couch,
yeah.
and like I realized that actually getting to know new people and making friends doesn't need to be so complicated lah. I think like having the different friends come in to share their stories and like sincerely just developing a curiosity about their lives, and along the way realizing that actually with some of them like we really vibe quite well, and like we have so much fun talking to them. That has been quite like refreshing and like filled me up lah in a way that I didn't really expect as someone who
Nice.
tends to keep to myself.
Right.
Yeah.
For me, right, NGL, I think how it changed me for the better is to just listen to people who are so different
Yeah.
from me. So
Yeah.
there was
Yes.
like so the nostalgia episode
Yeah.
was with very sentimental people that like I'm not, right. I think there was another one that was the perfectionist.
Oh yeah,
episode. So there was
yeah.
3 perfectionists on the couch and none of them were me.
Completely related with everything they were saying, by the
Oh, like,
way.
wow, but I think it made me realize how people just work differently, and it made me have a deeper understanding and then appreciation, right, for the people at my workplace as well, or just people that I have to work together with, instead of just staying frustrated at,
Yeah.
hey, how come the so and so doesn't do check-ins in the middle, just only appears at the end, right? But I realized what actually goes through their head, how they actually only want to give like the work when they feel that they are proud of it. For example,
Yeah.
when they really put in, the effort that they feel the work deserves. And I was like, wow, that's like such a
Interesting.
fresh perspective to have. Yeah, and I think it really made me really just be open to listen first. Yeah, and to just hear and appreciate how like people think and what they value, and realize actually we're not so different after all. Yeah.
Shani, what was it like for you? Since you were kind of, not really on the couch all the time, but you
Yeah.
got to hear all the different stories from behind the camera.
correct. So like most of the time I will get to like join in the like pre-meetings or
Yeah.
even like as we are processing the topic together. So like I'll get to hear firsthand, and then I'll get to also share and also like process some of these thoughts. And I remember there was one like friendship episode or something, and then we were talking about we're just talking about making friends and keeping friends for a lifetime, like what Nata says, right? And then I just said this like, I just feel like nobody would really want to be friends with me for a long time lah. Like, if I were to like ask people out, like, I don't think people would actually like come. And then like Nata just like shot back in like a wink of an eye, she's just like, hey, you got a trauma, is it? Like, yeah. So like I went to think about it, and I was like, yeah, maybe like it's something that that I grew up with.
Yeah.
And that I really just felt like I'm not a good friend, or like people would not consider me a good friend, or people will not like me for who I am. And then like I feel like every time we had this kind of conversation, then Nata would be like, no, you're a good friend, you know. And I think like really like this NGL is therapy thing, right, really helped me to see, hey, you know, it's okay to be who I am.
Yeah.
It's okay to share my thoughts, and it's okay to like be honest with the people around me. And I think like even after that, when we actually got to do the parties and like meet some of these people, and I remember like having dinner with some of them, and I felt like I intentionally put myself out there, and like this is me, this is who I am, and I am really like learning to know about you as much as allowing you to know me.
Yeah.
And I felt like that really changed me,
Wow.
and how I see friendship.
Wow, that's a
I feel
big
this is
shift.
big.
Yeah.
This is really big. Because like, I guess how we present ourselves socially, by the time we get to like, you know, our like late 20s, 30s, can really be quite ingrained, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
yeah,
established
yeah.
already. It's very hard to like
Correct.
make this kind of paradigm shifts.
Wow.
great.
Yeah, I mean, like, whatever you just said, right? It reminded me of something. As much as me and Zell always like sit here and like share a lot of very open things about our lives. Actually, sometimes I go back after the shoot, right? And then I regret what I say. I'm like, why did I just put that on the internet? It's so
Oh my God,
embarrassing.
yeah.
Actually, y'all don't know, once the camera's off, right? We say so much more unhinged things that just don't go onto the internet.
Yeah.
But yeah. So like I think sometimes like
There are
like,
unhinged things that doesn't make the cut also lah.
yeah. So thank you, Shuni, for like
Yes.
being the better sense amongst all of us. Because sometimes me and Zell are really just reacting and not thinking.
So on the topic of going back home and regretting things you say on the internet, so I was in an episode where I admitted to the whole world that I was essentially a bully.
So I regret one sentence, you regret the whole episode.
I regret my whole life. I don't know.
Actually, like after the episode, I'm a bit fear for David.
Yeah. Because he's really not like that now. So we were a bit scared.
Hey, thanks,
Yeah.
Nata.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think even after the episode, I really did a lot of digging into my own life and like understanding why was I that before, and really unraveling a lot of like my upbringing into why I became like a hurtful person before. And so it's like even while on the couch, as like what you guys are saying, that while you're sharing, you're processing things, and that became my whole journey throughout last year. Because I remember in the episode I shared was like a mastermind. Like I became like very manipulative. So understanding where did that manipulative mindset come from. Yeah, so it was like I was just free to share whatever, and then they have to like, okay, I share everything, that I have to bring home everything.
Pack it back into a box.
Pack it back, and then like
The bursting already, then the scotch tape coming off.
yeah, it's like I have to keep it in, but then never mind, I just let it out and then
okay.
process it through.
Like,
How is it now? It's
Yeah, I
okay?
think it's
last one,
much better. I've like learned to heal from the things that I've kept in
Wow.
for so long in my life, and I've grown to understand better about why I respond to things in a certain way.
Wow.
So it's really been a therapy, like even as a guest. Like it is like processing while you're on the couch. So this is really magical.
Actually, that was something that I guess when we started out NGL, that was something that we hoped, would bring a bit of clarity, and encouragement to people out there that, it's not easy to, just sit with a lot of these kind of thoughts
That's right.
about
Yep.
ourselves.
Yeah.
And hopefully, for our viewers out there, it did help, some of us know just the next step forward.
Yeah.
What kind of what is one thing that we can work towards? We may not have the full picture in front of us, but at least we kind of know where to start.
Yeah.
I guess facing it is hard, but not facing it and pushing it down the line, it's just gonna be
Yeah, how
harder.
to
Yeah,
live.
way harder,
Correct.
way harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, the thing I appreciated from David's episode, right? I thought that it was very precious that we could see forgiveness.
Yeah.
And, like even like reconciliation happen. Because like, I mean, now y'all are like friends, right? So which also I feel it's a very precious lesson to learn, that we can have second chances.
Yeah.
Or like even third chances, fourth chances, if we will take the time to be sincerely, sorry and reflective
Yeah.
over what we've done, take ownership. But there will be people in your life who can extend to you that forgiveness and chance to try again. And I do feel like many of us, when we grow into our 20s, we may have some regrets over some of the ways that we handled certain things in our lives, or even like who we used to be in school when we were just like, not
fully
using your
developed
brain
yet.
and
no
then
brain.
just like doing whatever everybody else is doing or like trying to prove something about ourselves. I think that's a very common experience lah, to be
Correct.
honest.
Yeah.
Sometimes we grow older, then we cringe, but I think beyond just like cringing and trying to forget that side of yourself and trying to pretend that it doesn't exist and now you're a different person, there's some value in plucking up the courage to revisit it so that we can make more intentional decisions on who we now want to be.
Yeah, it's been such a good run for our podcast.
Yeah.
super good.
70 over episodes. Wow.
3 years long
Yeah.
time.
I didn't know we can talk about so many things, but
Yeah, right.
wow, thank you for tuning in all the way.
Yeah.
And I think not just a podcast, right, but we also had so much fun, laughter, and new friends in our in our parties.
Yes.
Yeah. So should you share with us like when did we start these parties? It was a year after?
Yeah, I think a year after we had the
1 year.
podcast.
Oh yeah, we celebrated our first
last year
anniversary.
anniversary.
Yeah.
I think eventually because it really boiled down to why we wanted to start
Yeah.
NGL in the first place, right? Was to have like people have conversations and people to like come out of isolation to really be in like communities. So I think like that was when we decided, okay, how about we just like put together like a gathering and it's like, people just come and hang out, and then we just like made conversation cards.
We were like, how many people will come out? 10? Maybe.
Yeah, I was expecting about 10 to
Then
12.
we got like
I think
5 production crew.
Exactly. And I remember
Crazy.
one like core memory I have of the first party, right, was that I walked past this one table who was sharing based on the convo cards, right? And it was their first time meeting one another. And then someone shared until they cried.
Oh wow.
Then I was very, very shocked because I felt like,
Wow.
for one, I didn't really know whether people would be open to coming for a party like that to meet strangers. Because as someone who keeps to myself, I think I would struggle to turn up for something like that. Then number two, to see them come and like share so openly about their lives to the point of like getting emotional, right? I think I took that moment to reflect and I felt a few things. One, very, very thankful that we could facilitate a space like that for people to be real and just connect and hopefully find some healing through that interaction. But secondly, I also took some time to reflect on my privilege. That I think the reason why I can feel like this kind of party is not for me is because like in my life there are people who do cover me like relationally in that way. So I don't necessarily feel the need to put myself out there. But there are many people who do want to find people who can connect with them in that way, right? Perhaps because they either want to grow themselves relationally, socially, or there really aren't people who journey with them through life. And I think that there's no shame in putting yourself out there. And in fact, it's so worth celebrating when you put yourself out there because that's so brave. And it's so courageous. And it's the kind of courage that I think I lacked
Yeah, and they
before
come
seeing
on their
people
own.
do that.
It's not like I go
Friends,
because I have a friend coming.
So I actually think that you are very brave for coming to these kind of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like when I first came into the first ever party, because I was already in NS, so I wasn't in the NGL team for quite a while. So when I came into the party and saw the people listen, I'm like, huh? You all come for this? Who are we for you to come here and like talk to us and hang out? And I remember the first ever party, like people stayed and we did a whole karaoke session. And
Oh my
that was
God.
so precious. I was like, this is like all strangers coming together
like
singing. Yeah, singing and
Where is
performing.
the love?
Yeah,
I
where is the
remember.
love?
What's wrong with the world, mama?
It's like, yes, the world is healing. It's like, all coming together.
There was someone that I met at a party, and he said that actually he goes, right, because actually he has he is very comfortable group of friends that they grew up together since secondary school, or even people that he grew up with in the neighborhood. But he said that actually it's a bit like sometimes that kind of is a double-edged sword because they kind of know you for the person that you are. So he feels that they've come to a point where they know each other maybe 10 years plus. If he suddenly were to share like, hey, like actually I've been
Struggling with then it's like, wow, what if he opened a Pandora box that his friends don't know how to respond, don't know how to react, that kind of thing. So so he said like coming to these kind of events, it's a bit like sometimes in a room full of strangers, right? There won't be this kind of second guessing, no judgment. You're just a blank slate. Not sure if COVID has something to do with that, where everyone feels like they're in a vacuum. But I think it's very cool. Like the people that come, it's like we are strangers, but they're not like strange. I feel like there are always moments. These are always moments to be still. Like where I see people like really slow down. People open up and think about these issues and just like talk and then listen to people, right? That's just so precious in this day and age. It's like everyone's just so busy. It's like you go on the MRT, everyone's using their phones, everyone's like, you know, playing games or like, you know, just scrolling and just no time to be with yourself and with people like so authentically and like reflective. I remember there was this
like
particular moment, right, in one of the parties, right, where this girl who came, I think a second time, and then like it was after the party, then she and Nata just sat down on the floor and then like talked for 45 minutes. And I just felt like,
It was
wow,
like
it's like
catching
all
up
friends
actually.
catch up.
Yeah.
But like she was only here the second time. I was like, you know, like people treasure these kind of like moments and connections, like really deep connections with people. And I feel like that's just very, very memorable for me lah. Yeah.
You see, these are the moments that make me realize friendship doesn't have to be so complicated.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Yeah, because like, I mean, you think about our parties, other than the party that happens once a quarter, there's no other formal setting that we gather and like, it's not like we see each other at work or in school every single day. But I think the only ingredients that were in it was sincerity lah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like being sincere to just show up and listen to another person without judgment, you know, to understand them for who they are, where they come from. And like from there, you just find people that you connect with and you look forward to seeing again when
Correct.
you do. And it's sometimes just as simple as that.
Yeah. We have a lot of people that come back. Then it's like a family like that, sort of.
Yeah. It's nice to...
Yeah, I think the parties really, I think it really came full circle because we started the podcast wanting to create a safe space
Yes.
for people to, you know, just listen or to even just feel that, you know, they're not alone in certain adulting issues. Yeah, but in the party, right, it just culminated to like, wow, we are really literally not alone.
Yeah.
It's no longer just listening to Nata, me, and a few other guests on the screen,
Correct.
right? But you actually have heart-to-hearts with, you know, 4 or 5 other people on that table that just gave you that, time to listen and to relate, to encourage also. And I felt that, actually, like whatever that thought maybe we had 3-4 years ago, that
It's tangible now.
it really came
Yeah.
to pass.
So
And I
good.
quite like that at these parties, we are not the main characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be
Yeah, we
honest,
only
we are
appear
just...
for games.
Yeah, we really just facilitate the time, you know. Come in,
Correct.
say hello to everybody, do some unhinged things in the games like we always do. Then actually most of the bulk of the time is people connecting
highlights.
to each
Correct.
other and
Yeah.
not so much talking to us. And so it's really not like a fan meet and greet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, there were so
yeah.
many parties that we left early.
Yeah.
And then like we just left them to them.
Yeah, actually,
Like, they
yeah.
just continued talking.
No, then,
Yeah.
some of them were like, y'all got podcast ah?
Some don't even know that. Yeah.
I know this event from Eventbrite. Got
Yeah.
Instagram ah?
Yeah. So I was
So
like,
it's
wow, I like
amazing.
that it was not a party for us.
I still cannot believe it's 3 years, by the way.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So
So,
fast.
yeah, I know. And, you know, even though we are wrapping up the podcast, right? This is our second last episode. We still have one more. We'll share a little bit more later. But final question for this episode for all of us, right? How do you think, even without this platform of a podcast, you know, how do you think you can bring this whole spirit of, you know, NGL people creating that safe space into your world outside of this studio?
I think going back to just being in the moment and being still, I took that because I worked on NGL and then I went to NS. So the bulk of my time was just in NS lah. And so seeing people wanting to connect, I was very inspired by that. And so what I did was learning from just being present and being still and listening to people. I would take moments like during guard duty, for example, the very mundane moments, and being intentional to ask, how are they doing? How is their family?
Wow.
And things like that. And I think it was a moment of realization for me where people are just waiting to be asked. And so I realized that this is a culture that we can just start creating on our own with the circles that we
Nice.
have. Just being present for people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like having my own podcast, like, you know, and like in the middle of like a fast food place, like just having that podcast. Yeah, replicating what we have here into a normal everyday setting. Yeah, it's
Oh,
very
nice.
much doable. Yeah.
You know, when we first started, right, I had a few friends who watch our podcast. Then after a while, they will name their HT sessions or an NGL episode.
Wow.
We just filmed an NGL episode, We just did our own thing.
That's so
It's
cute.
so inspiring.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I really like what David said. I feel like sometimes some people may have the impression that this kind of friendship conversations, they want it to be organic. So don't want to plan it so much. When you plan it, then it feels very like inorganic lah, very like,
Orchestrated. Yeah.
I don't fully agree with that. Yeah, I think that there is room for intentionality. And
Yes.
just because you are intentional about it doesn't make it like inorganic. And sometimes when we are so focused on wanting it to naturally happen, it actually just doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's like your sincerity will shine through.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You really want to know, right?
Yeah.
That's the main point.
Yeah.
You really want
And
to know.
people will feel touched, right? And
Yeah,
love that you
yeah.
actually want to know about them.
Correct.
Yeah.
Agree.
I think for me it's like I have learned to act on like my random thoughts. So like go back to like the organic thing, right? So it's like I feel like previously I will not like just ask people out on a whim because I really feel like I don't know how to handle one-on-one conversations. I feel like I think I will always second guess like if they would want to spend time with me even, that kind of thing. Or like if I randomly text this person, would this person like even like text back? I genuinely want to connect with these people. So if I really am thinking of them today, I'll just text them randomly and just say like, hey, I passed by your place today, thought of you. How you doing?
So sweet.
so nice. Yeah.
Well, I think you will really cheer someone up.
It's
there.
true.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It's okay lah, like just check in on, like maybe they're having a bad day or whatever. I also don't know. Just check in on,
And
like,
maybe
hey,
that's
how
why
are you?
they came to your mind lah.
Yeah, and then
Wow.
I started doing that a lot more often in my daily life, and I really feel like because of that, I actually get to hear some updates from my friends that that is not on their Instagram.
Yeah,
or
you
it's
don't have to
not-
wait for like the 3 month
correct.
later dinner.
Correct, or
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a dinner
yeah.
that may not even happen, like or
Correct.
maybe because I checked in, then we like.
And the dinner happened.
Eh,
after
yeah,
that.
like I'm really not doing
great.
well. Like, okay, do you want me to talk about it? That kind of thing. So then I feel like there were many moments that this happened also. So
Nice.
yeah, I felt like that was really like my NGL in real life lah. Yeah.
Wow.
Nice, nice.
That's so cool. Yeah, I think for me, right, I am a very comfortable person, creature of habit. One thing that I took away from NGL that I hope to continue to work on myself, right, outside of this podcast is this growth mindset. I realized that the people that we invite on this couch can share, not just in a very articulate way, but, really having that depth of self-awareness, right? It's really because they want to grow. Like they don't want to just continue living life as where they were.
Correct.
Even though it's so hard, right, to like go back to the past or work on something that maybe other people are like, you can just move on, or like they are able to do it because they know that there is a better way to live, and they learn to find different support systems, right, to encourage them through it. Yeah, so I feel that now when I meet people, right, like I do try to remind myself, is there anything from this person that maybe I can grow? Or I just ask the person, like if it's a good friend, right? Yeah, I will just ask, how do you think like I was like the last few months?
Oh.
Yeah, just like
That's a good question. Yeah.
I don't know, but I just try lah. Yeah, and I think some of the responses are quite like eye-opening. I just very encouraged lah, even though it could be something that I find like ouch, a bit ouch, or like I didn't know about that. I think remembering how our speakers, right, like work through that discomfort, brought them to where they are today. Yeah, it makes me also like want to
Open
continue
to
pushing
feedback.
up, pushing on also.
Okay, I don't think that I have arrived at it, but one of the things that I've been thinking about a bit more ever since we've been doing NGL is what it means to, like, what kind of a friend I am. It made me like realize that actually if I do want to establish friendship with certain people, especially new people, and there are people that maybe I'm curious about that I would love to hear more from, right? Actually, it's okay to reach out lah. And it's okay to do that simply. I don't need to overthink, because sometimes I also overthink and feel like, it's so weird, very awkward. Like that was a big thing for me, like simplifying what friendship is, learning to reach out more, to ask the real questions, maybe get a bit out of my head lah, to not have to like plan everything and be able to see how it all turns out before I take that first step. Yeah, but it's okay to discover it along the way.
Yeah. It's been a good 3 years, I think. Yeah, and we hope that regardless of whatever platform, I think really NGL people can be something that can be lifted up. You know, wherever we are, in our different friendship groups, in the workplace, in our homes.
Yeah.
This is something that we hope that will continue even for all of us here who are tuning in. Yeah, that y'all will be able to find that kind of community also in your own life. Yeah, so that is our episode today from the production crew, the people behind the scenes from the very start.
Thank you for your hard work, guys.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. You know, we are going to have a very special last episode, finale. Okay. So it's no longer going to be on this couch because we're going to invite back some of our speakers, and not just two, we're going to have like a party. We're
going to have an NGL party on screen.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think, 8 to 10 people. So we've got,
full house.
It's going to be us eating dinner
at Nata's house.
Yay!
Finally scam people to come to my house.
Yeah, so we've got some of our, actually all of them are Nata's friends.
Yeah, I'm just hosting a party for my friends, to be honest.
Yeah, and you're invited to come and watch us eat. Yeah, we're going to film that. We're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So join us as we go out with a bang.
Yes.
Yeah, so we hope that you enjoyed today's episode. Give us a like, share, subscribe to our channel. If you don't know what we talk about, we've got 74 episodes.
That's right.
Yes, all on our YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify as well. So you can binge watch, binge listen.
Everything. Yeah.
Yes,
you can
and-
listen for like 2+ months straight while you bathe.
Oh, that's
Wow.
crazy. Yeah. So it's been such a great ride, and we've also got socials. We are on ngl.people at TikTok and Instagram as well, and you can join our Telegram channel to see our updates on our next in-person gathering as well.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna have one more
Christmas.
Yes,
The best one.
Yes.
Yes, it's a great place where we'll have a great community to share about life with. Yeah. So with that, see you at the next episode or in our party. Bye.
Bye.